In a time when posing and pretending have become more valued than action and duty, our image of manhood has shifted. Today, it is seen as admirable to be a man with a cocky attitude, a rebel who shouts majestically self-proclaimed and unearned titles, adding Greek letters to his surname and inflating his every achievement with a good dose of excessive pride. This inflated sense of self-importance and arrogant behavior is not a mark of a true man. As tempting as it may be to project yourself into the world like this, friend, keep in mind that this exaggerated self-opinion will only display your vanity, and no matter the caption that you attach to your name, your behavior will only shout weakness, submissiveness, and fear. This false pride will eventually lead you to be self-absorbed and to act out of self-interest, embracing shameful motivations and dishonorable deeds with the hope of being seen as a man. Authentic confidence, strength, and courage are markers of a true man and are achieved through humility. Humility, a term often associated with weakness, timidity, and self-doubt, but this association cannot be further from the truth. Humility simply requires you as a man to think of your abilities and actions as no greater and no lesser than what they really are. Real humility commands you to know and to be honest with yourself, which in turn will help you assess your talents and gifts, your struggles and weaknesses in a truthful and objective way, without the magnitude of self-importance that comes with pride and the comparison with others. You see, friend, humility is the absence of pride because pride functions only in contrast to everyone else. Understand that pride is essentially competitive by nature, and it cannot exist if you do not base your self-worth on how you stack up to others. You are not proud of being rich, smart, or good-looking. You are proud of being richer, smarter, or better-looking than someone else. Although pride has its value at times, most often than not, it projects your insecurities as you grasp desperately for praise and compliments. This attempt to measure yourself highly in respect to other men leads to selfishness, inconsistency, and weakness. Real men are secure in their abilities and do not find it necessary to put themselves in higher esteem than those around them. Real men are often the quickest to share the glory with those among them, most of the times removing themselves from the victory parade. Study yourself, friend, and take notice of which men you consider great. Be honest with your observations and see that the men that you consider admirable are not characterized by how high they attempt to measure themselves in respect to others, but rather how low. Your praise goes to the man that consistently chooses restraint and humility, the man who takes care of the people around him, who helps them reach their full potential and shares with them everything he has, and not for a second deeming himself more valuable and worthy. Such a man will always be greeted with adoration and esteem, not because he is asking for it, but because his strength is found in his humility. Becoming such a man is a matter of choice. Embark on the journey of manhood, friend, and taste the freedom from pride and arrogance by embracing the moral value of humility. Use humility to resist against the tempting tendencies of arrogance, greed, and self-centeredness, and give your best to have an accurate self-perception and modest self-portrayal. Put your best foot forward and do everything you can to become the type of man that you would admire. Begin by developing an accurate understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses. Be humble enough to own your imperfections so that you no longer have to waste your energy hiding them from others. Instead, learn to live with them and, if needed, overcome them. Be aware not to fall on the other extreme, friend, where you stubbornly have a low opinion of yourself, as extremely low esteem, just as a narcissistic over-evaluation of your talents lacks accuracy, and is another way of fixating on yourself and becoming self-centered rather than directing your attention toward others. Don't be a prideful man that takes as much credit for his success as he possibly can. Acknowledge that you are not the center of the universe. You are part of structures that are larger than yourself. You may be part of a couple, a family, or a community. Be a humble man and seek to shine the light of your success on all the people around you. No matter how much work and effort you put in, you will never rise to the peaks of accomplishment alone. Your talents and skills, a supportive family member, a friend or teacher, together with some lucky breaks, all contribute somehow down the line. Understand the idea of fulfilling your duty and do what is expected of you. Whether you take the role of a husband, father, soldier or engineer, keep your promise and fulfill this role, not for attention or applause, but because you are supposed to. Real duty is not self-seeking and is done purely for the benefit of others. Whenever you do something, have the strength of character not to stroke your ego to gain acclamation and keep it completely to yourself. There is no need to show off and put your deeds on display when you know who you are. It is a tough test on your manly humility, but take on the challenge and embrace the code of silence. You do what you do because you made a choice and gave your word. Period. Understand, friend, that no one, not you, not me, is truly indispensable. On a day-to-day level, no matter how good you are, if you quit your role, someone else is going to take your place and things will move on. Even if you die, people will continue to wake up, go about their life, and nearly everything will continue to function as before. As harsh as this might sound, this should be rather liberating. Instead of saying yes to things you do not agree of doing out of guilt and fear, out of selfish worry that others will simply not be able to function without you, have the courage to accept this fact and leave these pressures behind you. Make honest, selfless choices and bring your best parts to the game of life in full gear and put them to use because you, as a man, although dispensable, are necessary. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. Become a man that embraces humility so that you can be able to push yourself beyond the limits of your own abilities and in this process enrich the lives of the people around you. Use humility to stop pretending that you possess some sort of certainty or clarity and recognize that the world is, to a large degree, unpredictable. Be humble about this fact, but still engage in the world by taking action and being clear about what you must do, even if you are not certain about how things will turn out. There is nothing great in being superior to your fellow man. True greatness is being superior to your former self. Mastery begins with humility. Are you willing to embrace it?